Until recently, this information had gone largely unnoticed. Let's take a look at the science of how this works and how health and healing are deeply connected to the most basic physical laws that govern the natural world.
In some places in the world, women carry enormously heavy loads on their heads, sometimes day in and day out for decades. Those who do this successfully seem to move effortlessly with remarkable fluidity and ease. These women also carry the secret for how to eliminate many kinds of back pain, neck, and joint pain, and point the way to easy flexibility, relaxed authentic strength, and enduring vitality. It's not necessary for us to carry heavy loads on our heads, but understanding the mechanics of how this works is essential to solving many people's pain problems. It's not just women who carry heavy loads, but many children who in some places carry water on their heads and siblings on their backs, all done with great ease. Babies and toddlers are little gurus for how to live in relaxed, aligned bodies. When figuring out all on their own how to stand and walk, healthy toddlers discover the position of the pelvis that serves as the foundation for the spine and aligns the weight-bearing joints, the ankles, knees, hips, and shoulders, yellow dots here, along the vertical axis of gravity, or plumb line. Constructing a building begins with a framework of wall studs, posts, and beams that must conform to the same physical laws that govern engineering, architecture, and everything else in our world. The human skeleton is no exception. As the framework of support for the body, it must also conform to these laws. Scaffolding demonstrates the underlying simplicity of stacking aligned joints along the vertical axis to provide strength and stability for a lifetime. Let's build a body from the ground up, starting with feet and legs. Then we'll add a pelvis, a rib cage, a skull, and connect them together with a spine. Think of these three colored ovals as wheels that can turn or rotate in different directions. This is Meredith. She's looking pretty collapsed here. Let's take a look at what's going on with her three wheels of alignment. We see that her pelvis is tucked under. In other words, the pelvic wheel is rotating backwards, the rib cage wheel is rotating forward, and the skull wheel is rotating back. This relationship of bony structures to each other defines this particular posture. It also causes shortening and compression of the spine and is the cause of many pain problems. Like most people, Meredith has been taught to stand up straight by tucking her butt, sucking in the belly, lifting up the chest, and pulling her shoulders back. Although this is widely considered to be good posture in our part of the world, we see that following these steps disrupts the alignment of her skeleton along the vertical center line. In looking at her three wheels of alignment, we see that all three of them, pelvis, ribcage, and skull, rotate backwards, causing compression in her spine and joints and contributing to much of the pain and injuries so many people experience. Whether standing like this, or the many variations on these same themes, we see that standing without legs that serve as vertical pillars throws our entire alignment out of whack. Meredith is now showing us that there is a more natural way, the one we all discovered as healthy toddlers, that is effortless and relaxed. Here we see all three wheels rotating forward, giving her the support of aligned bones that will help prevent many problems with pain and injury. This also happens to be the secret of distributing the weight of a heavy load on one's head. If Meredith were a marionette, in this overlifted stance, the strings would be attached to the front of her body, pulling her up and forward of the axis. If we loosen those strings, in other words, release the tension holding her up, she'd collapse like this. But when the strings are attached at the back of the body, they bring the skeleton in line with the center, providing the support of aligned bones that enables muscles attached to those bones to relax. The spine is elongated and joints are decompressed. These three distinct postures tell the story of dramatically different periods in my own life and show the transformation I experienced by learning how to put these principles into practice. In 1981, at the age of 34, I stood like this. It's no surprise that I experienced a lot of discomfort and pain back then, as well as a host of other health issues. 10 years later, at the age of 44, I stood like this. By this time, I was exercising a lot and teaching yoga, and in my case, unaware that I had become addicted to stretching in order to repeatedly release all the tension I had as a result of chronic misalignment. Here, I'm 65 years old and feeling more relaxed and free from pain than ever before. I'm more naturally flexible too, even though I haven't stretched in years. The kind of strength I enjoy comes from an easy interplay of aligned bones and elastic muscles working together as a system of pulleys and levers. Just look at what's possible for this 93-year-old woman who's never even heard of a gym, but who has continued to bend and move the way she did as a toddler. It seems that some features of aging are not inevitable after all, for those people who do not become disconnected from remembering how this human body works. Not many generations ago, children sat upright with ease. They stood on two legs that served as pillars of support. Today, they are more likely to sit like this. In the modern world, few children past kindergarten age still have the benefit of an aligned pelvis or the architecturally essential support of aligned leg bones. The consequences of this may be far more serious than we have realized. For instance, how well does a child thrive when the organs of respiration, circulation, digestion, and nervous system functions are chronically distorted and compressed? What are the long-term effects of this on future health? What part does structural integrity play in the epidemic of learning disorders, as well as behavioral, sleep, and pain disorders plaguing so many children today? How well does oxygenated blood reach the brain, or neural impulses get transmitted through a compressed spinal cord? Might these be worthwhile questions to ask ourselves when we so readily resort to medicating children in our attempts to treat these problems? The exciting news is that now that new information about human skeletal alignment is coming to light, it can only lead to many positive changes. Parents of young children will be able to adapt modern-day practices and devices to protect their children's alignment from being lost in the first place. Teachers will be able to incorporate simple instructions for sitting and moving naturally into daily life in the classroom. Putting this into practice becomes an anchor to the present, and thus serves to build mindfulness. People everywhere will be better able to prevent injuries that are such a common problem for many people who exercise, practice yoga, and play sports. Toddlers and women who successfully carry heavy loads on their heads will become the models of good alignment, leading to major new breakthroughs in medical research that will reveal that the body, like the engine of a car, requires a precise alignment of working parts in relationship to each other for healthy functioning. As only one of many examples, we can ask how well a heart is able to pump blood when its valves and chambers, as well as blood vessels, are distorted and compressed. Eventually, new insights will be incorporated into medical school curriculums, empowering doctors with new options for helping their patients prevent and improve a long list of conditions. It has been shown time and time again that people who learn to realign the skeleton often experience remarkable recoveries from long-standing pain and a host of other health issues. Not only will much physical pain be alleviated, but one by one, people will become enlivened by a flow of energy that is more readily available through the open channels of an aligned structure. By realigning ourselves, both literally and figuratively, with natural laws, we are able to directly experience and reclaim our bone-deep connection with this earth, the home that we share with each other and with every other species.
Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. If you'd like to know more, there's lots of information available at our website. And if this information has built a bit of a fire under you, well, help us spread the word and bring this out into the world where it will do a lot of good. Thank you.